Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. May look like another Saiga 12 shotgun that I have, because it is. We've actually done some work on these two recently. I'm doing this whole like Saiga kind of like trip right now where I'm doing a lot of stuff. But this basically is the original Saiga that I first ever bought. It's really nice. This is where I fell in love with these shotguns, and unfortunately it got broken. So a friend rammed the mag into it too hard and kind of broke the clip on there, which does the like empty mag detection. So it wasn't broken, it was working, it was fine. However, it meant that I would not get that click on the reload when it was empty. And that was so much part of my experience with this, because I love gas blowbacks and I love doing the reload and kind of having that feeling. So I ended up getting another one. And so this one I actually had sitting around for a while. And I decided fairly recently to turn this into my like HPA outdoor shotgun, because with an HPA adapter like this one in here from AirTac, I'm really not gonna need the on empty like detection, because it's not gonna do that. This adapter here is basically just gonna take AEG mags, and this is 150, 170 round mag. This is a mini EPM1 or an EPM1 mini. And that means that I can run an airline into a gas tank and then I can just run it off this. However, it's not got any empty mag detection. So I was like, this is the perfect shotgun to basically just turn into my like outdoor HPA monster. And this shotgun's amazing. I love using the other variants of it indoors. However, outdoors you are outgunned. Like these regular mags, like this one here on my Saiga 12 SBS, that mag takes 45 rounds. You can get one that takes 90, which sounds like a lot, but actually when you're firing 3 rounds per shot, like you're only getting 15 trigger pulls from that. And obviously you've got a lot of AEG players you're playing against who have a lot more. So I kind of have worked on this before. You may have seen a video of it. And basically I have printed some stuff for this. And my basic plan is to make this as light as possible and as like user outdoor as possible, because the indoor site also I play at does not allow HPA. So this is going to be an outdoor only gun. Now, the things I've already installed on this is I actually put this rail on here. This isn't the original rail on the Saiga 12. I put this original rail on there and I'm not sure if I love it. It's kind of like a Zenico style rail. I do like the design of it a lot. And it's quite chunky and I do like the feel of it. It's like very ergonomic in the hand. However, I'm not like 100% sold on it. So I'm actually going to try putting something else on here today, which is going to be the main install. But I also have put this Basterd Labs set on here. So this is like a drop pistol grip here, very vertical. It's almost a copy of your Difrico grip. And this actually has a line hole going through it, which runs through this trigger guard. And you may be able to see here, there is a small part of my HPA line. And that is basically running from this adapter, which is going to go into the actual like system here, through that HPA trigger guard, down through here, which basically almost now turns this shotgun into a HPA gun as it would be with recoil. Because obviously when I'm firing it, this thing is still going to be going and making a lot of noise. So I'm very, very happy about that. However, so the same guy that made these Bastard Works pieces also made this, which is a full front end for the Saiga. So it's 3D printed. It's a 3D printed file. This file itself is €12.14, so about $15. And it has a barrel replacement, gas block replacement. It's going to give me that upper rail. And it actually does one for the SBS. So if you haven't seen that video, I actually printed this in green and installed it. And I liked it so much that I was like, I really actually just want to put this onto my 12K, because it made it a lot lighter. I ended up keeping the original barrel in here, but I'm actually going to swap it out and do the lightweight barrel on this one. So this video is basically going to be a tech video. It's going to be me taking this front end and changing it out for what is currently here on the SBS, sorry, on the 12K. And then the other thing he's also done is let me just undo this, is a stock, oh, hold on, I've just decided to play a video while I'm talking to you, should put this out of the way, is a stock tube. So instead of having this stock on here, which it works fine. Let me just do this here. And it folds. I'm going to still, I think, have that folding functionality with this one, but it's going to allow me to run a regular stock on here. These stocks are fine, but they are very like rattly, and I don't know why. It seems like they kind of cheaped out on the stock on these with Tokyo Marui. It's worked great, but it doesn't have a QD point on it. And I kind of just want to change it out and see what we can do with something else in here. So, sorry, my nanny came in there looking for presents we bought for my 3-year-old who's turning 4 in 2 days. So apologies for the pause. So yeah, so I'm going to change this all out. So this is going to be a tech video. We're basically going to edit this and not edit this. I'm just going to do it all live as I usually do, or not live, but in one take, and I can pause it there if I need to. This also is something he made, which I just printed, and I'm going to do a separate video on this, but I'm kind of obsessed. Whereas this doesn't look great. Like, this is an AR mini style mag, and it does the job, and it's going to give me a lot of mag capacity. I can use the full length ones, but I don't really want that looking like it does in there. I can now basically print this sleeve, and this sleeve makes it look like the Saiga 12, like actual mag, or like a P mag for the Saiga 12. And I can now put this in, and that looks way more like a shotgun, actual like magazine. So it still has the window in it, so I can see how many BBs are in on the EPM ones. But I'm going to print these for all of my EPM ones that I'm going to run on this Saiga, and then I can just literally slip that on. He also has, I don't have it here, but he also has like literal like stickers that you can print, which actually will go on the AirTag adapter itself and like meld into it to make it look like that. However, this video is not about that. We'll kind of do a little shot of the of the 12K at the end, and you guys can see what that's like. So I've got my little screen desk overlay. Sorry, that was quite a long intro. And now my desk overlay is not working, so we'll have to do that manually. I don't know why that's... oh, no, it did. Having some technical stuff here, apparently, where it's like delaying. So there we go. There it is. So basically, I'm just going to take this guy apart. I'm not going to remove the HPA parts because I don't think I need to. And it's just going to be a bit annoying to remove them. But with this and the trigger guard, it basically means I can just leave this as HPA indefinitely. These are the other Saiga 12s that I have been working on recently. I've actually got another 12K, but this obviously is the Groza. So I'm going to love this for my indoors. And the less of a novelty one, which has got a lot of these Basterd Lab parts on it already, which is the stock tube, and this front end and this suppressor. Like, this is probably going to be my most usable, like one that's going to perform the best, I think, because it is literally plays indoors. Sorry, it's full auto, so I can play indoors full auto, and I'm excited about that. So, but this one is going to be, well, I need to not damage these, so I'm putting them down. This one is going to be my outdoor one, so if I've got friends who are coming with me, we can just do like a shotgun set of us, and then I'm gonna move this. I don't know. I think I do need to remove this. Yes, I do, because I'm doing the gas tube. And then I'm going to leave that on for now. We'll get to the stock later, but I'm going to need to remove a slightly bigger one. This. And I want to know what you guys think, because this is the current rail on here, and I actually did heat inserts. Actually, I didn't. I just kind of like railed this one in. No, I did. I did heat inserts on this. So I've done a video where I inserted the heat inserts, and we may go back to this, or I'll see if I can run them together possibly, where I have like the gas tube and light in a barrel. But if I can just make this thing, because it's not really realistic as it is with my other ones. Like, I mean, you know, my other ones are fairly realistic. But I play more milsim. I like that kind of like milsim style where I'm trying to get the realism there. However, with this one, I kind of just want this one for function. It's going to be my, if I really want to go out there with my shotgun and I want to perform in the best way that I can, I want it as light as possible. And I also want it as like portable while still retaining the Okay, so I don't want to remove these technically until we know that this is out. The other thing actually that is aftermarket on this one is the barrel. So the barrel I think is a Laylax barrel. I'm also actually currently printing a... I'll put these over here. I'm currently printing a what's it called? A flash hider for this as well, because it comes with this and that's cool, but I don't know. I'm kind of like hoping that it's going to be better. And this one is like a amplifier. What do you call it? I can look it up now, but it's another one from Basterd Labs. He just literally released it, so I'm just printing it for the first time. It says it will be done in 11 minutes. So by the time I'm done with this, I can run out, I can grab it from my 3D printer and we can try and install that. I did just think, did I actually print the right width of it? Because I think his barrel is the same as, he gives you 3 different options in terms of like diameter. And I'm pretty sure his barrel is the same width as the original Tokyo Marui, but it may be different. So I've just thought as I'm doing this, I'm like, okay, wait, have I actually printed the right size? Okay, so this is the top rail for this coming off, which is the Zenitco. I then just need, I think, to slide this off. I think there's no other attachments on this, I don't think. So we can do a little shimmy shimmy. I feel like this is where you injure yourself the most. Oh, I need to get the thread protector off. Yeah, this is where I like injure myself the most. It's not actually like when you're doing technical stuff. It's so much more, well, technical stuff. It's so much like in terms of like knives or screws or whatever, it's like pulling stuff off and then suddenly you like scrape your skin. I don't know if you're the same. So this is now what it looks like. I'm going to basically take this apart, and I kind of remember how to do this, but equally I took my Saiga 12 SBS apart. When was it? End of last week when I filmed that video where I did the install for that. And so I can remember certain parts, but certain parts I don't remember as well. And this one has got this iron sight on it. And if I remember correctly, I need to rotate this thing off. Like, how do I do it? I rotate it this way. Oh, I think I know. Hold on. I think I need to put a piece in. I need to put a pin, I think, in here and then rotate it down. I'm trying to remember how I do this one. Anyway, all I did there, guys, was just unscrew this. I pushed the indent in the end there and then unscrewed this little like gas tube cap. So that's just going to be out the way. I'm pretty sure I have to like put this in here. Yeah, lift it up, and then I'm going to unscrew this. So there's basically just a little hole here. I need to stick like a pin or something through there, lift up the spring that's underneath, and then basically unscrew. This little wheel's going to come out. So we're going to put that there. There's a sprung plate, which is that piece that we just had, which I'm going to put here with that. Then I think I just need to knock this pin out at the back here. Again, it's like me trying to remember this stuff when I haven't done it for a while. I did replace this barrel, which is I think the last time I did work on the front end of this. Okay, and then this is coming out, which is the iron sights. And I don't think I'm going to put those back in because I'm going to have a rail on it. So I am probably also going to have to find a red dot for this. Again, like another expense. I feel like I spend so much money on sights. Let me just see if I can. In fact, I don't need to do that. I was thinking I need to knock this through, but actually I'm going to remove that part, so I don't need to do that. I'm pretty sure I am. Am I removing that part? Yes, I am removing that part. This is going to go there. Yep, I am removing that part. So there's no need to do that. So now what I need to do is just take this kind of like holder off. So that again is going to be knocking pins out. And I'm pretty sure I knock them this way. We'll soon find out. Not great to do that on this. Let's put this here. I think I might have knocked it the wrong way. I'm trying to think. Some of these, it doesn't matter which way you hit the pin. Some of them it does. And I think, yeah, I knocked that the right way. So you're knocking it from right to left. This is going to be another pin that I'm going to keep. This you've got to be careful with because that's like the little indent, the little bit you press to get that in. There should be a spring inside here. Yep, so there is a spring right there. That's going to go there. I've got this other pin that I need to knock through. That's another bolt that I can't remember where I put that one. Okay, that pin is going to go here. And I think I'm going to need those again, basically, just to get this guy back on. Right, now there is a grub screw, which I've just remembered, back here. Right on this zone here. So I'm going to back that one out. And I may well need that as well. So I'm going to use that there. Now let's see if I can get this off. I think I'm just going to hammer it and it's going to come down as far as I remember. There isn't another grub screw in there. Nope, I don't think so. So it's a bit of a longer piece, this. It's not exactly the most easy thing to... Okay, so that's coming down, which is great. Turn it round. Just hammering it in the middle here of this gas tube. Again, I'm not really going to need this piece, so I'm kind of not sure if I'm taking this apart for no reason. I could probably just remove the whole front end from the base. But we'll do it because then you guys can kind of get an idea of what this is going to be like if you just want to take these parts away. So I'm going to put that there, that there. Then what we need to do is do a grub screw on the barrel, which is going to be right here. Again, I'm just going to walk that one out, and that should then allow me to remove the barrel, I believe. But we'll see if that's the case. And then in here, we have to be slightly careful because there are 3 barrels in the end here. So I need to make sure that I'm not like damaging their alignment. And I've never really removed this base. So this base is going to be something that I don't know what I'm doing. So I probably should have watched the video and looked that up before I started this, but I think we'll be okay. Now there's often like a little rubber O-ring here around these 3 barrels, and I can feel that rubber resistance. So we'll see where that ends up. And I could, I believe, leave this on if I wanted to. I could pretty much pick and choose some of the pieces and the parts that I wanted to use. But I think as I want to make this as light as possible, I'm going to do everything. See how much weight we can cut off this, because I think the front end of this should end up being very, very light. Let's put this away. I don't need that. Okay, 2 minutes until... So this is where this O-ring is here. So I'm just pulling and slowly it's going to come. And uh-oh, I've just taken one of the barrels out, which is not great. So that's that O-ring right there. And I have accidentally pulled one of these barrels. So I don't know how much damage that's going to do because the O-ring is now not on top of there. That's really not good. So I think maybe when I take this part out, we'll work out what I'm doing in there, because there is a fixed hop up. I'll put this here. This guy can go away. But I've accidentally taken one of those out, so we need to make sure I'm not messing around too much. Okay, so this, to be honest, this catch here as well, we don't need it because that is going to be a catch that holds this stock, and we're not going to have that stock anymore. So this fits, but only just. I don't want to strip this screw again. So I'm going to take this out. I think it's just going to be these two screws, potentially a bottom like little flathead here, and then it's going to be this pin. And I think then hopefully I can just kind of remove that piece. Or actually I may have to take this screw out here first, because this guy right now is stuck in position. So let's do this. Find a flathead piece. Oh, and there's also two screws on this side as well. So I'm thinking that this may remove the catch or allow me to pull it out somewhat. Yeah, that looks like that's what it's going to do. Okay, so that we'll put in this one. Put that there. And then I can pull that catch out the way. And go back to this. Now this is definitely an older Saiga as well, guys. This is like one of the first batch ones. So let's put that there. Then as you can see, there's two more of these guys here. And then I think it's just going to be that front pin. And hopefully I can kind of remove this whole front section out of the way. Put that there. I need to try and remember as well, like which of these screws is going where. I've just realized I've not been very good with that. Okay, it looks like as well this flash hider piece has printed. Okay, right, I need my punch. Right, where did I put it here? And then we went right to left. So let's hope it's the same way for this pin. Yeah, I think that one doesn't matter. That's like a double-sided one, so that should be fine. Okay, so hopefully, and this does come out, and that's great. This little spring here, I'm not sure about, so I'm just going to leave that alone for now and try not to lose it. And right, what we need to do is put this back in here. And so I need to make sure, probably one of the worst things I could have done. It's all right, not many of the pieces flew out there, so I'm not having a great little run of this. Okay, so the hop up pressure is going down from the top, so I need to insert this way. And I really don't want to have to take this hop up apart, because that might be what I end up having to do. I don't know what these hop ups look like inside. That might be what I'm going to have to do. So I don't want to rip this hop nub. It is coming in. And it's actually just resting on this O-ring. So if we can get that O-ring seated. I might just give it a little push and just see, because I don't want to rip it, but equally, if it does rip, I can always buy another hot rubber to put in there. That's just a hassle. Push up this feed tube. And again, guys, that was my fault for just probably rushing getting the barrel out, the outer barrel off over the top. I'm just trying to make sure I'm pushing up this hop nub while trying to squeeze this in. You can see there, like the actual offset's not too much. But I think we may have to open it up. Okay, let's do it. I'm going to open it up and then we can try not to remove any of these springs, but I know that this is going to be a bit of a nightmare. Okay, so let's do it. Try and rescue this guy. So I think I may have lost in that drop 2 of my screw heads. I found one of them, which is this guy here. Push these all down, and then these are just extras. So I'm going to put these in here. This guy was here, and then I think we're just missing, sorry, this guy. Yeah, we're just missing a small end piece, which I can find. Okay, I have some extra screws that I had in there, but it's just going to be a small flathead, so I can find that after the video. I'm not going to let you guys sit there and watch me do it. I'm going to get, which one do we need? I think one of these. So I'm just going to use a little Phillips head here and remove the base plate of this hop unit. I mean, this is kind of good in a way, as long as I don't mess this up. Hop unit's going to be the middle. As long as I don't mess this up, because it means that I can learn how to change the rubbers, because I just haven't done this on prior installs of anything on here. Okay, so that's coming off. I just want to leave that in place. We don't want to mess around with that. Okay, now, can I just pull this out? Okay, yeah, so this is just going to come out. It means that hopefully I can just seat these. I'm going to take this O-ring off. What am I? No, I'm going to thread this through this way, I think. Because that's going to be the issue I think that I've had, is I've pulled that O-ring through too far. So it's just held it in the wrong spot. Okay, now I can line this up. And I'm pushing that hop rubber out, which is annoying. So I'm going to do this properly. And I'm going to take these hop rubbers out. And lay them on the actual... In fact, do I want to do that? No, it actually seems like it's almost R-hopped where it's just sunk in. So I'll put that back in. We just need to be careful how we're... So it's not a standard hot rubber. Like this thing is very like individual looking. I don't think I've ever seen a hot rubber like that before. It's almost just got the patch on the top. So I'm sure you could edit, or you could, you know, create one from a hot rubber just by cutting it. Okay, so that's now in place with it at the top. This is in place. This is in place. So we now need to line up these barrels with them at the top. So I'll start with this top one. Push that hot rubber. Just thinking, do I want to line this up and then just slide it in, or do I want to get the barrel in? Let's just check it on the first one and see if I can do it easier this way. No, it's not going to be easier. Or is it? It might be easier to do it like that. Okay, so I'm going to do it that way. Push this guy out. It's going to be harder now this top one's in there. Now we go. I'm going to set it in there slightly. And then I'm going to meet it and then push it in. Okay, that's going to work, right? Okay. Let's push this guy out. This is where I'm going to like knock the other one out as I do this. Okay, so those two are good. This guy is going to face up like that. This was the barrel that I had the issue with. I'm glad I didn't try and force that one, I think, because it would have been... Okay, so that's all good. So now we have those all in place, like there, and then the hop rubbers are all good. Let's just double check that. Yeah, they've all got the nubs sticking down into there. So now I just need to not mess around with these springs. What did I just say? Not mess around with these springs because I hate springs. Okay, now I'm going to have to install these springs back in, which is going to be great. So that's going to go there, and then we need these springs to sit in here. And no, I haven't lost it, but I thought I'd lost it for a second. Okay, so this is why I've done a little short on this before, but I absolutely hate springs because the amount of times where I've just had them shoot off. So that one's gone in. And on this, basically, I'm just having to seat this spring on that little run. And then push it in. And then weirdly, that seems to have gone in. So that seems to have gone in fine somehow. So we'll do that. Where's the piece that I just had? Right here. We're going to attach this guy onto here. And then we're going to get those screws. Might be a bit of a longer video than I was expecting, guys, because now I've ended up basically redoing the hop on this, or reseating the barrel, I should say. So I kind of want to put these in around the same time, just so I'm getting that in straight. Do not want to strip these screws. Often if you're starting to strip it, just put force, like push into it, so that it's not kind of like skimming across the top. Okay, so I think we are all good. Let's just make sure this is working. That's perfect. Okay, so that seems like everything is good now. So, right, what we're going to have to do is work out how we're going to do this. Now, I think what we're going to be end up doing is putting this guy through here. This is going to seat into here. So that looks like that worked well. Then, and I haven't cleared up all the supports off here. It was kind of like an interior part, so I ended up not kind of like fully pulling all the threads off, but because I don't think it's going to affect the actual use of it. But I maybe should have done that. Okay, now I want to make sure these springs seat in the right spot. They're going in straight. And I'm getting some resistance. So I think this is, oh, hold on. I think what the resistance is going to be is this pin. So I might try and take this pin out before I do this. We'll work out how to take it out. So it looks like to take it out is going to be a nightmare. It's almost like a weird angle on this, and I may have to take out an interior part. Oh, okay. It's the magazine that's holding it in. So this AirTac adapter is actually what's holding that in place. So take your magazine out if you're doing this. It's going to be my tip. Fortunately, I've pulled this as tight as possible on here. Okay, cool. So that's out now. We can put that away. Okay, and then that's going to go back in. So that's holding in fine. Right, so now we can do this. It's a good thing I didn't miss out on that, because that would have been annoying. Okay, so it's still got some resistance, but if I push it down, that sits in place perfectly. Okay, cool. So that's good. So I think all I'm going to do now is put the screws back in that I had in there, which were these guys. Switch this back to, in fact, does this do this one? Yep. So we basically just have these, and then we have that pin also that was in there. Make sure these are lining up. Might just do a little hammer and just make sure it's seated fully in. There's a little bit of, it's a little bit raised there. The pin, it looks good at the top, almost. And that again might be slightly my fault, where I just haven't pulled all the actual like little pieces off. but also it's great that it's tight. I know on the Saiga SBS one where we did that, that was another like very tight. Bye. It was another very tight kind of section there. So I want to screw these guys in. So I think that's just going to pin it in place if I can just kind of screw them in here, because it's going to thread it in. That's biting that. Okay. I'm going to put that in partly. I'm going to do one on the other side. And again, the great thing with these is because it is 3D printed, it's, if I mess it up, I can just reprint. No, I've just thought it could be actually is because I've got this thing in here again. Maybe like pushing it forward slightly. I'm just going to release that slightly. Okay, perfect. That's going in nice. One of these. Now it looks like you could leave that catch in there. So if you're not changing that back stock like I'm going to, and you want to keep that catch there, then you can do that. Thing with me though as well is because I've got this adapter on here, this is where the mag release is. And so because the mag release is there, it means that we're not gonna be able to use it. If this stock is folded there, it's gonna make it very hard for me to actually like reach it. And so there's no real reason for me to keep that in either way. If this is going to be my HPA shotgun, like it may be different for you guys because you might not be using it as a HPA shotgun or only as an HPA shotgun. You may be wanting to switch out between an HPA adapter. And because I've got another one of these, this is the plan, is just to not actually need to take the HPA adapter off. Okay, that's on there. That's on there. Now we just need to get this pin in. Again, I might just want to hit this slightly this way. Get the pin in, which is this pin here. Okay, let's do this guy. Sure I can do it. Okay, and that's getting to that point there. I think we should be good. Kind of need more solid one than this. Might do switch to this guy. Actually give this some support. I use this case so much for supporting stuff as well. Like my hole punch kit. I may do as well actually is just put this screw in here, because then that will just hold it in place, because this isn't quite lining up straight. So it's one of these. It's not quite lining up like fully straight. as in it's working and it's going to go through. It's just slightly offset on that other side. So I need to not try and like force it too hard. Actually, there is no gap for this one here. So it looks like I don't need to put this one in, which is fine. Because I can't see that there's actually a thread gap for that there. So that's fine. I'm just going to need to try and get this guy through. The other thing I didn't check actually is if I'd got all the supports out of this hole, which is something I've not done before. Let me just see if this is... Okay, so it looks like we have a little bit of material. So... Yeah, it's not really moving right now. Let me fold this guy in. Might make it a bit easier. So I kind of just need to wiggle this, I think, up slightly. Okay, so I'm just going to hammer this guy slightly down. It's really close, this. Just don't want to like over force it. You know where like the holes are just slightly misaligned? I'm trying to show you there. Like on that pin, just ever so slightly misaligned. And it's just the plastic, I think, just not fully sitting in that spot. What I might do is actually just leave that until we've seated it a little bit, because it's holding it in place. There's no issue with it. And obviously it's got these in there as well, but I might just try and sort that one a bit later. So we'll leave that there. It's basically just got a little pin protruding there, which is fine. Okay, so next what I need to do is, I don't need to put that screw in, which is great. I'm gonna have to put this barrel on here now. So that's gonna be the next part, and what I need to do is put the rubber O-ring over the top of these to hold them in place. Now this is, as I said, like the difficult bit, because it's going to do the same thing. It's so hard to like keep this O-ring in place as you're doing it. So it might be tight enough actually, just feeling it, that I don't need that. So we'll figure it. We'll put it on. We'll see what the movement in the barrels is like. And then if it's tight enough, we don't need to worry about that O-ring. And it feels like it is tight enough. Okay, so that's screwing in perfectly. A long set of threads, these. Same as the actual barrel. So this is protruding out the end. So I think I went for the shorter barrel. And that is going to mean we're getting this. So I think there's another version of the barrel you can print which is longer. Unless, did I print? I'm going to have a flash hider on here anyway, so that doesn't matter. But I think I printed the shorter version of the barrel. Okay, so that's cool. That's done. Do I need to screw that in? No. it looks like that's tight enough. So there's no extra screw hole to like bolt that in like we had on it before. Next, we're going to need the position that's going to come in here. So that is going to be which part? That's going to be hold the gas tube. This is going to be for the rail. So I think what I'm going to need to do is put this guy in here next, and that's not going to go that way. So this is going to go in here. And again, I expect this is going to be a tight fit, so I need to possibly hammer this guy in. Yep, so that's hammering in nicely. You can see here, like there's a kind of like wider, or like it kind of travels down for the barrel. So you can tell quite easily which way it's going to go in. Might do this guy here. Sorry, I'm not showing you on the other screen. As with the other stuff recently I've been doing, guys, I printed this in PLA Plus from eSun, which I've just found is really good. I mean, like the finish of it in terms of the like not having it fully matte, I don't love, but apart from that, it is amazing. Like it prints super quick, it's super strong, kind of has a little bit of flex to it, so it's not like a it's not like it's gonna like crack. Like the issues I had with the regular PLA is it would like crack or warp in the heat, and this apparently it does not warp as much in the heat, and the actual strength of it in terms of getting hit by a BB, which is going to be the main thing, is a lot better. What I'm also going to do in one of the videos is just shoot this stuff. So I'm going to try and print like a plate of each, and then I'm going to do different versions of like different higher and lower FPS. And then we can kind of work out which is the best, and if you're going to 3D print, which filaments not to use. Okay, so that looks like that's in there perfect. Like there's now no real gap between these two. It's got his logo right here hidden, so it doesn't actually show up on your replica, which is good. Okay, so then next we're going to go with, I think, this guy, which is like the end of the gas tube. I think this is going to go over the barrel, quite obviously. And then I think it's going to be this way, because this is, yeah, so this is the end where those pins were. And so we'll put that in there. And then it's also got the little indent right there, which you don't need to now put in because that's in place. Okay, so that's gone on nicely. There's no give in it. It's perfect. I didn't need to hammer that one. And then we are on to the final piece, which is this guy. So again, I haven't removed all of the end pieces here. I'm going to do that afterwards. But you can see here, I can just remove it. And actually what I'm going to do with this is spray it, because this is going to be my outdoor gun, and I work in outdoor shotgun, and I live in Southern California. So what it's going to end up being is a like tan kind of spray, similar to my MTW, if you guys have seen that one. Okay, and that feels pretty good, although it's not fully seated in there at the base. So let's see. Did I put the wrong length actual barrel on this? I feel like I've put the wrong barrel on here, and I've gone with an SBS barrel as opposed to a Saiga 12K barrel. I might be completely wrong, but it does feel like that barrel's less. It's not as long as the no, this is going in. I'm like, where is the kind of give for this? Because that's where, It's actually going to line this up better. Yeah, okay. So this is now coming in. Just use my little hammer thing. My favorite hammer boy. Okay, and then we're going to have that pin in there. Okay, that rail segment's now lined up. That's perfect. Okay, there's a little bit of a gap there, just where the kind of like rail is meeting the actual body. I mean, it's not an issue. You can see here, there's a slight gap there. I've got a weird feeling I printed the barrel that's too short, but I could be wrong. We'll see. I'm gonna work it out when we put this next barrel holder on. And actually, is that gonna line up the part where we're gonna put the screw back in? That'll be the other thing to know. Because that's what we're gonna put in here, I think. Let's try it, because I think that's going to go there, that's going to go there. Oh, we didn't put the actual spring, the actual pins back in there, but it doesn't really matter because it's now going to sit in place. Those pins are just going to be decorative. So let's see if this fits straight through. If this fits straight through, then we're all good. And I don't need to worry about anything else. So let's go with, actually we can do it with this guy, I think, can't we? Yep. I already love this grip, but it's kind of like, I know this grip because I've had it on my SBS. So I know the feel of it. So it's not like okay, so great. So that's in. It's sat right in there. Do I need a longer one? So you can see already, like that is just so much more, like it just feels a lot more kind of like compact in the hand. Okay, so that is going to be that front rail. I'm going to try and see if we can just work out. Let me just hit this slightly on here and see if I can line that pin up a bit more. That's so close, that pin. Okay, I'm going to mess around with that after the video. But basically, that is going to be there, what that looks like. I'm going to pause this quickly and just see if I can go and grab the flash hider, see if that fits on here, because I think I might have printed the wrong size, but hold on. Okay, so I've just grabbed the flash hider. This is what this guy looks like. We'll remove the supports, but actually the supports came off that perfectly. These are the little tree supports. This one took about 45 minutes to an hour to print on my printer. You can see there it's a, what does he call it on his thing? I keep forgetting the name of like what they're actually called. This is a, let me just show you. It is a, not a compensator. There will be links to all of this below. Choke, a stubby choke is what he's called it. So I'll put links down below to his page so you guys can go there if you want to buy any of this stuff, any of these prints, and put them on there, you can. Just pull this bit off. Okay, I'm trying to remember which way this is, if it's a counterclockwise or clockwise. I think it's a clockwise. Again, 3D print on 3D print threads is not going to be as easy, or when you first put it on, it's definitely going to have this resistance to it. So I think this is actually could end up amplifying the noise of the Saiga. So that is now what that looks like, which I think looks pretty damn cool. I've obviously now got this rail space on the front, so I can do what I want with that rail, which I'm quite excited about. And then I think this next part should be pretty easy. I think I just have to knock this pin out and then seat it in. One thing I do know is that he said that the tolerances on this is very tight. So I may need to kind of get a heat gun or a hairdryer and heat it. But we'll move on to that bit now. We've basically got our front end done. And I said it costs, what is it, about $15, about, what is it, 12.5 euros to buy the print. Obviously, you can then print as many of them as you want. The cost of printing with the actual filament, I think, is, I don't know, maybe around $7 or $8 is kind of what you're looking at. Why did I just put those away when I need them? Do this and then get my hammer. And I think I'm going to knock this upwards. Again, I'm like, which way do I go? That's going. Okay, that seems to have worked. Yeah, so when I was thinking I knock it upwards, the reason I was thinking that is because you don't, when they were designing it, you wouldn't expect the pin to like drop down. So if it's like on the like top part, that to me would make more sense, which it seems like that's what they've done. So that is basically just removed this stock. So we can put that to one side, use that later. I could always actually just put the metal barrel back on if I wanted to. That might be something that I end up doing, but to be honest, the weight of it, it's not too heavy, but it's heavier than the one that I've put on there. And then we need this stock tube. So this stock tube is basically going to sit this way. And we're going to just get this pin and put it back down through here. Now this, I think, is where the tolerance could be a bit harder to get it on. So I'm going to give it my little knocks. It's going through fine. Okay, make sure this is lined up. Let's get the... Let's maybe do... Let's just grab it like that. Just need to make sure it goes through properly. Okay, that looks good. And now I'm just going to finish that knock with this. That lined up. Okay, that's feeling like a good tension. Okay, close. Really need to use a bigger pin than this one. Where's this go? That's way better. The other one was just slipping. Okay, that's in. Right, and then that is perfect. Now I presume that is going to loosen up over time, just because it's plastic as opposed to being that metal on metal. So, because this piece is metal here. Yeah, that's metal there. So I presume that is going to loosen up over time. But to be honest, for me, I'm planning on keeping this thing locked in. Now, what we may need to do is shave this slightly, because that's not fully locking in at the moment. To be honest, it may well have. It's got some of the support still in there, so that's probably why. Where it was printed. Because I print with tree supports, obviously you can kind of print with what you want or what you think's better. And they're not the cleanest supports, definitely. especially when you don't take the time and effort to clean them out like I don't. But what I'll have to do if not, and this isn't fully locking in, is I'm just going to have to do the bit of filing. File it down a bit. Okay, that's the issue. If you're going too hard with it, I've actually ended up just snapping it. So that's not great. We need to make sure that I'm probably printing it with something a little less brittle. Because you can see there, I've snapped it, which is not ideal. That is now locked in. But I'm going to have to reprint this bit. Okay, so now that locked in, but I just basically hammered it too hard. Now this isn't hard because all I have to do now is just reprint this one piece. And this was a separate piece to the actual, like, the what was it, $12 thing. And I printed this one quickly. So I think that that's going to be something that I have to reprint there. But I'm going to mention that as well and just say, hey, this thing is probably slightly weaker at that point. This fits perfectly. I shouldn't do that because now I'm going to struggle getting it out, but that is going to be an issue. What I was actually going to install was this on the back of it, which is the Daniel Defense stock. I just had one of these lying around, but I actually, after I was looking at it, I'm like, this could be really cool. So that would be basically what is going to sit on there, and that's how that's going to look with it put in fully. I mean, I could just run it like this and just have it like a shotgun. This thing weighs nothing now. Like, it literally doesn't weigh anything. So I could definitely run it in this format if I wanted to. But maybe what we'll do, guys, I'll do another video now. I'll just print this, and then I'll do another video just installing this part, and then we can have that as a separate video. I've done this on the last video as well. Literally, like, I had to stop installing this because I didn't have time, and then I had to go and do it in a second video. Especially with the SBS, it's a lot harder because the actual base sticks that way. But I'm going to slow print this now, and we'll have that in the next video. But this, guys, is now my SB. Oh, let's put this back together so you can see what it's like. I was going to say it is light, but it's definitely light for a reason, isn't it? Because it's got no internals in it. It's got no actual bolt inside. Okay, so that's now running inside that gas tube, so that fits perfectly. This thing I'm going to run here. And that is perfect there. And then the top cover, I think he has actually printed a got a top cover print that you can do. But I've always said with mine, I'm like, I love the like metal clanging noise of this. Like, to me, that's just so much nicer. But now I can put a red dot right up on here. That's basically what this thing is looking like, minus the stock, which I'm now going to do a replacement for. But that is something to think about, is if you drop it on there with the stock right there, then that could crack, just like I did when I kind of rammed it. So yeah, just bear that in mind. If it's not the metal, or it's not got a metal base like that one, then that could be something that happens. All right, guys, I'll see you very soon. I hope you enjoyed this video, and have a great day wherever you are.